Hello and welcome to NFL Matchup. I'm Elijah Knows It All. And this week, we're covering Week 5 of the NFL. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. And oh yeah, check out my show, Like Father Like Son, coming soon. Now, here's Earl Knows It All.
What's up and welcome back to NFL Matchup. I'm your host, Earl Knows It All, and thank you for joining us. We are here at Week 5 now, man, and we're a quarter through the season. Right now is the time where we've kind of figured out who are the teams that are going to be the contenders, who are the teams that may be here at the end of the season, and who are the teams that are frauds, who are fooling us, man. The picture is starting to get a little bit clearer, man, and you come to the right place if you're here to get all of the updates on what's going to happen this week in Week 5, man. So do yourself a favor. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Turn your notifications on, of course, so you don't miss a thing. And comment below. Tell us what you think about our picks, man. We've been having a little bit of an up and down first quarter of the season, man. But we're going to get right this week, I promise you, and make sure that we give you all of the proper information you need to make your picks on these games and to sit down with some ideas about, hey, what's going to happen in this game? What should I look for? That's what we're here to do, man. We give you what's going to happen in these matchups, man. So we're so glad that you guys decided to join us, man. Our subscriber number continues to go up each and every single week. So make sure you tell a friend, man. And you know what we like to say as well. Tell a hater. All right, man. We spread the wealth, man. It's a wealth of knowledge here, man. We're trying to bring you some value, let you know what's going on here. I believe we have the best NFL content of anybody in the world, man. And we, like I said, we do this each and every Thursday. So right now we're going to start with our first game of the week, the Thursday night football game, man. Amazon Prime. We got a NFC West showdown, need I say, man. We got the Los Angeles Rams hosting the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, of course, coming off their first loss of the season to Jacksonville. A little bit of controversy after that game, man, between the defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, and Liam, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we showed you that video, of course, in our coverage of the recap of what happened in Week 4. Now, this game is interesting because these are two teams who I picked to make the playoffs this year. I had the Rams winning this division, the 49ers being a wild card out of this division. They got a third team in this division as well that's been pretty good so far, the Seahawks, who are 3-1 also. So teams, the 49ers have been kind of up and down. Brock Purdy's been hurt. He missed 2 games already. He came back last week for his first game since Week 1, and he may be out of this game. As of right now, the time of this recording, I've not gotten confirmation if he's going to play or not. So maybe a game time decision that you may see Mac Jones, the return of the Mac in this game possibly. But one thing I do know is that the Rams look very, very good, man. They've been lighting up. Stafford had his best game of the season this past week, man, and I think he continues to go about his business and handle his business in this one. It's a 5.5-point spread. These Thursday night games are always interesting because usually they're between two division rivals. So teams that kind of have an idea of what the other team looks like kind of give you some familiarity since you're getting a little bit less preparation time. So these are two teams who have an idea of what they want to do. But the Rams, of course, their passing game has been very good, man. They had that one slip up against the Eagles where they were up 26-7 in that game. Probably should have put it away. If not, we may be talking about them being the best team in the NFL and definitely maybe the NFC. But I still have them as one of the top teams right now. Team to look out for. Very dangerous team. They have the number 1 receiver in the lead in Puka Nacua. He's just ripping up stuff right now. Over 40 catches already. He's averaging, I think, 124 yards a game. Had a 170-yard game this past week. So look out for him. Look out for Devontae Adams, who's also doing his thing as well. He's gotten the ends on the last 2 games. The last 3 games, actually. So he's showing a trending towards that relationship with Matthew Stafford getting on the right page. I think in this game, short time preparation, injury concerns with the 49ers at quarterback, and, of course, still not having their star tight end as well. I like the Rams to win this game 27-20. Like I said, I think they'll cover the 5.5-point spread. May even be a bigger game than this, depending on that quarterback situation. Just a little bit too tricky for me. Purdy looked rusty. He's still having that toe issue as well. So, like I said, I think the Rams are the safe bet in this one. I think they'll handle the business at home, too. Always good to look at these home teams in these Thursday night games as well. So, one thing that I do like about that is that the Rams are a very, very polished team, and they look very good. So, we'll take the Rams in this. The next game on our slate takes us to London, England, where the Minnesota Vikings, who've already been out in Europe for a week, take on the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns, I guess, are the home team in this game. I don't know how they came to that realization that they would be the home team, but a lot of news for the Browns, man. They got a new starting quarterback. Joe Flacco officially has been, I guess, demoted. We kind of saw this coming. We knew eventually he would probably not be the starter there long term. Obviously, Joe Flacco is very close in age to someone like myself, so he's probably more in the podcasting age than the starting NFL quarterback age. But Dylan Gabriel will get the opportunity to take over as starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people were looking for Shadur Sanders. A lot of weird stuff going on in Cleveland. Shadur doing the pantomime as he's answering or not answering questions about the quarterback situation, man. It's a cluster, you know what, over there in Cleveland, man. But at least they're over in London, so maybe they can kind of get away from some of the drama. It'll be interesting to see how Gabriel performs in his first NFL start. Based on that, even though the Vikings have had kind of rough patch, man, they lost to the Falcons, got a big victory over the Saints, and then a big victory after that, of course, with Carson Wentz coming in to start. And then they went out to Dublin and lost last week to the Steelers. I think they may be a little bit more adjusted coming over, already being over in Europe. So let's travel for them as far as coming to London for this particular game. And they're facing a rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel in his first NFL start. So I will take the Vikings, who are given 3.5 in this one, man. I think they'll win this one easily. The Browns are a tricky team, man. Sometimes they play kind of tough defensively, but they've gotten waxed against teams like Baltimore and against their Lions. The Vikings aren't that caliber of team, but I think the Vikings will be able to put up a couple points on them. Hopefully, if it's Carson Wentz still starting at quarterback, he can get the ball into the hands of Jordan Jefferson and Addison and some of his weapons. And I think the Vikings will be able to handle business in this one. But keep an eye out on that quarterback situation in Cleveland, man. It'll be interesting to see what they're able to do. Will we at some point see young Shadur Sanders? I don't think we'll see him this early. It may be the last couple games of the season. I think they're going to let Mr. Gabriel get his opportunity to kind of helm the ship there for a while, man, just based on the way things are went in Cleveland already. Now, the next game is an interesting game as well. Another quarterback situation in this one. Lamar Jackson, of course, starting quarterback for the Ravens, two-time MVP, left the game last week against the Chiefs where they got beat down and battered in that game with a hamstring injury. He's saying right now that he's going to try to go. He missed practice on Wednesday, so he was out of practice. We'll see what happens in this one, if he plays or not. Very, very dependent kind of on if he will play, because the Ravens, honestly, they've had a tough go of it so far. They've had one of the toughest schedules, if not the toughest, I think, in the NFL. They're 1-3. They have to right the ship at this point. They've lost some games that they probably shouldn't have lost in that Buffalo game, being up 40-25 and blowing that one. Now you're in a situation where you got to start getting some wins on the board, man. It's a quarter of the season through, like we said. You don't want to have a situation where your starting quarterback is hurt. Hamstrings are a thing that can linger. So do you rush him out there? Or is this Texas team that's been pretty bad offensively and only has one win themselves? Are they a team that you can say, you know what, maybe we can give Lamar a little bit of a break, lean on Derrick Henry this next game, and try to get our defense right in this game against a team that's not very good offensively? Whether Lamar plays in this game or not, I think the Ravens do kind of get the shit righted a little bit here. I'll take them 21-16, and I'm basing it on a Texans team, like I said, has not been very good. They shut out the Titans, and of course, they did kind of get on track a little bit. CJ Stroud had his best game of the season, but I think the Ravens, even though they've been pretty porous defensively, will be a tougher challenge for them, and I see them kind of coming back down to earth a little bit. And like I said, they still didn't wow necessarily against the Titans in that game either. So we'll take the Ravens 21-16 in this one. Our next game pits two of the teams in the league as well. Some of these games this week interesting, just for the sake of they're not very good matchups, man. You got the Dolphins and the Panthers taking on one another, man. This is a game that if we didn't promise you that we would cover each and every game every week, we probably alone, man. Now the Dolphins are 1.5-point favorites in this one. They did get their first victory beating the Jets on Monday night last week. I'll be honest, I don't know what the ratings number was on that because you had two very, very ugly Monday night matchups as far as the way the records were set up. But That actually was a pretty entertaining game between the Jets and the Dolphins. They lost Tyreek Hill for the season, so another injury concern there. The number one receiver that cheated Tyreek Hill out with a torn ACL now. What are the Dolphins going to be able to do? Has Tua righted the ship? Has Mike McDaniel gotten things right? I don't think they have. But again, they're facing a Panthers team that's not very good. So I think they'll be able to continue on their winning ways, maybe get another victory in the column. I think they will cover in this one, and they'll win this one by at least a field goal, 23-20. And I'm basing this solely on the Panthers being a very, very bad football team, man. Now, they got the shutout victory against the Atlanta Falcons. I guess even a broken clock is right twice a day, because I have no idea how that team pitched a shutout and won and put up 30 points. But I think they are definitely one of the worst teams, if not the worst team. They may be worse than the Saints, actually. Saints have been pretty bad as well, too. Some horrible offensive numbers there. But these teams are competing to be the worst. And right now, I think the Dolphins are just a tick better than them. So we'll take the Dolphins in this one, 23-20. Our next game brings us the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Now, the Colts lost their first game of the season against the aforementioned Los Angeles Rams. The Rams, one of the better teams in this league. The Colts have been one of the best. But like I said, ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw in that game against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, 6.5-point spread in this one. The Raiders, I thought, would be a lot better than they've been. They seem to find a way to lose games, I guess. Lost that game to the Bears last week. They were up in it. I think they got 3 touchdowns from young rookie Ashton Jensen in that one, but succumbed to not closing the deal in that game. But tricky number here. 6.5 points is a lot of points, but the Raiders, to me, have just not been the kind of team that you can put your trust in and faith in. However, I say all that to say, I think this number is a little big. I know the Colts have been good, but maybe they're kind of coming back down to life right now. Jonathan Taylor has been amazing. And Daniel Jones, I'll give credit where credit is due. Surprisingly enough, has been pretty good. It seems like the system he's in now fits what he wants to do. It has, his skill set is best used in the system. So he's shining in it, to say the least. And maybe he'll do that, but I'm going to need more than 4 games from Daniel Jones before I start believing. Now, I do think the Colts will win this game 27-24. But if you're, laying some money on this one, I would say take the points from the Raiders. I think they will cover in this one. Raiders, y'all kind of got me jammed up last week on my pick 6, but I'm going back to the well. We'll see what happens here. I think it's a 27-24 game. I think what you got to do, Gino, is not turn the football over so much, man. Protect the football at all costs, man. Don't turn it over. You got a good young stud running back. You got an opportunity to maybe, like I said, put some points on the board. So don't turn it over. This game will be a little bit closer, but I do like the Colts to win this one if you're scoring at home. Again, I told you week 5 is giving us some matchups that are not very favorable, man. Matchups that maybe if you got something to do on this Sunday, you may be able to go out and get it done, man. If you got a honey-do list that your wife has been just waiting to say, hey, babe, on this Sunday, we want to go have brunch with our friends, and a good Sunday to do it, because some of these 1 o'clock games are pretty bad, man. You got the New York Giants taking on the New Orleans Saints. Again, maybe a battle for 2 of the worst teams in the league. We'll see what happens with that. Jackson Dart made his first NFL start last week against the Los Angeles Chargers at home. I did not follow my rule of do not trust the Chargers, and the Chargers let me down absolutely in this game. Now, Jackson Dart, I'll say, his first start looked like a first NFL start. I was not wrong about not picking the young rookie in his first NFL start. The Chargers didn't show up in that game. He did some good things running the football a little bit. We've seen him kind of come in and make some appearances earlier in the season in some running situations as well. So I don't think that's sustainable, though. I will say that. I don't think it's sustainable. Now, on the other side of that, you got a team who could possibly be looking at a defeated season, man. The Saints have just been horrible, man. They have been very, very bad. I think they're averaging about 5 yards a pass attempt. That's pretty tough to do, man. Those are rushing numbers. So when you're only averaging about 5 yards pass attempt, your offense has no kind of vertical threat. Kellen Moore, new head coach down there, a guy who left the Eagles, has a different toolbox to deal with in New Orleans. So, he doesn't have Saquon and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts. He's missing all of that stuff and that great offensive line that you had. And he's trying to maybe implement what he had. But Spencer Rattler, He's leaving a lot to be desired. And obviously the guy they drafted, I think his name is Shaw or whatever his name is, the second round pick out of Louisville, excuse me, that they picked. He can't be that good. He has to be pretty bad. He has to be like maybe the worst quarterback in the NFL. And we kind of thought that would be the case when they drafted him because nobody thought he was going to be, that drafted that high. But yeah, it's a little interesting, man, that they haven't even looked to him. Like Spencer Rattler seems to be entrenched as a starting quarterback there. So with all that being said, man, like I said, we have to pick every game here. I would stay away from this game if I didn't give you the promise of picking each game. But I think the Giants will cover in this one 21-17. Saints just don't have enough, man. They have players. They're talking about trading Alvin Kamara to the Chiefs. That'll be interesting to see if and when that happens. Hasn't happened yet, so I guess he'll be there this week still. But if and when that does happen, shout out to the Chiefs. That's a huge pickup for them if they can make that happen. And I think you got the final straw of any semblance of an offensive weapon for the Saints at that point. So Giants taking this from 21-17. Somebody has to win this game. Maybe they don't, though. Maybe it's a tie like the Cowboys and the Packers was. And maybe it's a 0-0 tie. That'll be interesting. I don't know that the league has ever had that before. So we'll keep an eye on this one, man. But I will pick the Giants for purposes of making a prediction in this game, man. Our next game, speaking of ties, puts the Cowboys going into Jersey to take on the New York Jets. The Jets have been an interesting team, man. They're putting up some points on the board, but lacking discipline. And Aaron Glenn, their head coach, has been very disappointed in the kind of culture setting they're just trying to do here. The penalties have killed them. I watched a game they played earlier this year against Buffalo pretty closely, and they were getting penalized in that game, and probably would have had a chance if they would have maybe kind of cut down on some of those penalties earlier, but that game got away from them based on that, and they continue to show those issues again against the Dolphins. And then you got the Cowboys who, I hate to say it, but Dak has looked very good this year. George Pickens had a big game, his kind of breakout game, maybe as a Cowboy on Sunday Night Football. They tie against one of the supposedly better teams than Packers. I think the Packers, we start talking about teams that may be a little bit fraudulent. I don't know if the Packers are really as good as we thought they were early on, but the Cowboys offense is very good. Now, the only problem with the Cowboys is they are double agents. They have no kind of defense whatsoever, and you can get the ball down the field on them with ease, and I think that's going to make this a very entertaining game. The Jets have played in some of the more entertaining games this season already, but I do have the Cowboys covering this one 35-31. Look for it to be a shootout. Justin Fields still comes up short. Jets still looking for their first victory. Aaron Glenn still looking for his first victory as a head coach. I think the Cowboys take this one, man, and go with Dak, I guess, in this one, and pick and that Cowboys offense to prevail. All right, for our next game, we got the Denver Broncos traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people like the Broncos this season to start the season. I kind of gave you a little bit of a heads up on Broncos may not be the best team. Right now, they're 2-2. So they're kind of making their way. The Eagles, of course, showing championship mettle, man. They're winning games that maybe they shouldn't win or holding on to win some games. Like I said, championship cloth is kind of getting them over the hump. Kind of reminiscent of what the Chiefs were doing last year. They're on that same kind of plan, but 4-0. Best record in the NFC right now, man. And Broncos game could be a tricky game for them, man. But like I said, Bo Nix, when he's facing some tougher opponents, he has not looked as good as you would think that he has supposedly been advertised to be. I like the Eagles in this game. Now, the thing about the Eagles, of course, is, some controversy as far as the A.J. Brown thing. They're kind of, trying to stir that up, I guess, a little bit. A.J. wants to make plays. I understand that. He feels like he can help this offense get rolling a little bit more. He's made some big third down catches in some of these games that they needed him to. But what's the ball, man? He's talked about that, and definitely something to keep an eye on here. But in this particular game, man, I think the Eagles just keep on trucking. They'll continue to handle their business. They win this one 28-20. Got them covering the spread easily in this one, man, and handling their business against a Broncos team that I think just will be overmatched. West Coast team coming East Coast to play at 1 o'clock. It's going to be a tough one for them. Not all the way West Coast, of course, but still, like I said, they got to make the time difference and kind of adjust to all of that. So we like the Eagles to handle business in this one. Speaking of teams traveling, the Tennessee Titans are traveling out West to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals kind of an extended week. They played the Thursday night game, so they got a little bit of an extra break. And perfect thing to get right after losing 2 in a row. Will be taking on the Titans, man. They're 2-2 after a 2-0 start. Are the Cardinals? Titans, of course, in the battle again to be one of the worst teams in the league. Their quarterback, a lot of maybe some controversy. Some people were upset that he said his team was ass. Sounds like he was just stating the facts to me. And probably some frustration there from the number 1 overall pick, a guy who probably wants to win, seems to be a competitor from everything I've seen from him so far, and a lot of frustration as far as how the season's going so far for them. So I don't think it's going to get any better for him, honestly. The Cardinals have been a tough, hard-nosed team. You know, like I said, they lost a couple of division games, probably could have beat the 49ers in the game they lost, and probably had a chance to win that game against the Seattle Seahawks as well, losing 2 games with zeros on the clock the last 2 weeks. You know, so I think this is a perfect time for them to get right. I got them taking this one 24-16 over the Titans, man. The Titans, they're gonna be fighting to try to find a victory somewhere. I haven't looked far enough at their schedule to see if they play the Saints at some point this season. That could be a battle to see, hey, who's going to actually win a game or who's going to end up with the number 1 overall pick. I think you're definitely in a tight race between those 2 teams to see who's going to be the worst team in the league right now, even though I mentioned the Panthers in that as well and some other teams. I think they can sneak up and get a victory. Titans are scuffling right now, man. It's going to be tough for them. So that'll be a rough one to look at. Now, we start getting, like I said, into our 4 p.m. games here, man. Another one, we got the Buccaneers traveling out to the West to take on the Seahawks. Bucs currently 3-1. They've had some come from behind victories in each of their 3 victories. Now, they weren't able to pull off the comeback against the Eagles. They fell short, losing that one 31-26. Now, the Seahawks have been a surprising team to me as well. I think I wasn't sure if Sam Darnold was going to kind of come back to life after his great season that got him this job in Seattle. He seems to be in a situation where he has all of the right weapons around him. Great running game, one of the best young receivers in the game, and young kid Jackson Smith as well. In Biga Jackson, I'm sure I just butchered his name, JNS. Now, one of the things that I've seen from the Seahawks team is they seem to just be resilient and be able to come fight and win games. Like good defense, maybe one of the best defenses as well. This should be a pretty good matchup, man. I like this one. The Buccaneers are an interesting team. A lot of moxie, of course, from Baker Mayfield. Some people like Baker Mayfield. Some people don't like him. I think he's a great competitor. I think that helps him. I think since he's been in Tampa, he's trying to turn his career around and show, hey, why people thought he could be the number 1 overall pick. Now, I don't know that he is an elite quarterback. He's probably on a 2nd or 3rd tier, not elite, but he does enough to kind of help this team get into the playoffs, I think. And they'll continue maybe on that streak, but going out to face the 12th man will be a little bit difficult for them. I think the Seahawks will take this one now. I have the Buccaneers covering. As at the time of this recording, this game is at 3.5. I think the Bucs will keep it close, keep it to a 3-point game, but take the Seahawks in this one if you're scoring at home. And I have them winning this game. I think they're just, a matter of the team that's at home has the opportunity. This game is played in Tampa. Maybe I would take Tampa to win it, but because they're playing with that crowd, home field advantage and the crowd behind them, one of the best crowds in the NFL. It gets very loud in that stadium out there, like I said, with that 12th man. I like the Seahawks to win this game. Our next 4 p.m. game has, unfortunately, has to be played again. Like I said, another one of these games where injury to a quarterback makes this not be the matchup we thought it could be. Detroit Lions, they've been one of the best teams in the league, man. They're taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Browning, who's come in to try to save the day for the injured Joe Burrow, who won't be back until December at the earliest. It's not looking good, man. He turns the ball over a lot. I seen my guy Killer Cam on It Is What It Is jumping ship from Cincinnati, man. And the people gave him a lot of crap about that, but I understand, man. It's looking rough in Cincinnati right now. You saw the blow up on the sideline between Jamar Chase and his head coach. So, maybe there's a situation here where the Bengals are going to have to try to make a move at quarterback. Do they try to go trade for a guy? Jameis Winston's name keeps coming up as maybe somebody who could be there. I threw out and floated one Mr. Kirk Cousins in the Atlanta Falcons. Now, from a salaries cap standpoint, that may not be realistic for them. And the Falcons, I've heard, are looking for a lot in a trade for him and maybe wanting some draft capital as well as some team paying a lot of that salary as well. So, interesting thing there. I don't know if the Bengals just say, you know what, we got a punt on this season. The funny thing is they're right there in the mix though. Like I don't think the Steelers are some great shakes, even though they're 3-1 in the top of the division, but that looks like a division that could be had. You got a downtrodden Baltimore team right now that maybe they can get it right, but Lamar could possibly have some injury stuff. So it's there for the taking, maybe. But I don't think they have the ability to do that, man. And 10.5-point spread, these large numbers I kind of get a little leery of, but last week I doubted the Lions when they had the big number against the Browns. I won't doubt them this week, man. And hopefully they don't let me down. They're on the road in this one, taking on the Bengals. I got them winning this one 35-21. I think you'll see a lot of Jamar Gibbs, Mr. Montgomery, and you'll see Jared Goff hopefully not turn the ball over. If he doesn't, and Mr. Browning for the Bengals does turn it over, this thing could get ugly quickly. So be on alert. Jamar Chase, like I said, is already kind of feeling a little frustrated, man. He wants the ball, and I don't know they had the capability of getting it to him. So in this particular instance, I like the Lions to cover this one, even with that big number, man. Next game we got on our slate, the Commanders traveling to the West Coast to take on the Chargers. Now, Jaden Daniels may be back for this game. I have not gotten confirmation if he will start or if it's going to be Marcus Mariota. I think that's why that spread is where it is, man, because if you got Jaden Daniels, this game could be maybe a little bit closer. Of course, like I said, never trust the Chargers. They let me down thinking that they would easily handle business against Jackson Dart in his first NFL start. This is a game, again, that is kind of tough to call with the quarterback injuries and all of this stuff. We're only in the week 5, and you're seeing a lot of these stories being told based on some injury situations, based on guys not knowing if they're going to be in the lineup or not. And not having a quarterback is a huge thing, man. Marcus Mariota, he leaves a lot to be desired at that quarterback position. He's maybe gutsy and a good backup that can come in for you, maybe spell you for a game or come in if your guy gets hurt. But if he's starting multiple games for you, you're going to start to be in trouble here. And if he is starting this game, I think they're going to be in trouble. Now, the Chargers, like I said, are 2.5-point favorites in this one. I think this will be closer than people think. They got some weapons over there. I don't know that McLaurin is back yet either for the Commanders. So, again, you're missing a lot of your talent on the offensive side of the ball. I like the Chargers to win this one 24-23. A little bit closer than the experts think, but I think they'll pull this one out in the end, late in that game. Our next game, our Sunday night game, the New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills. Back in the day, maybe this would have been a good game when you got to the tail end of the Tom Brady era and the beginning of the Josh Allen era, but I still don't believe in the Patriots. They put up a big number on Carolina. I think that was probably fool's gold, though, as Carolina is one of the worst teams in the league. Bryce Young, unfortunately, I hate to say it, is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. And that situation down there in Carolina just does not look good right now. Now, of course, you got Drake May, who, is kind of trying to right the ship there in New England, along with, Mike Vrabel, who was, I guess, supposed to be the savior here in this New England situation. They fought hard and played tough in some games, and they're facing the Buffalo Bills team that's probably been the best team in the NFL this year, besides the Detroit Lions, maybe, or you could say the Philadelphia Eagles as well. But the Bills have won some games very convincingly, and maybe that Ravens game was the only game they kind of had to come from behind and make something happen. But it seems like that kind of catapulted them into doing what we thought they'd do: win this division in a landslide. And again, they run this NFC East now, and I think they'll continue to do that, man. It's just, it's like back when Tom Brady was running this division. They continue to do that. Now, I will say I think this game will be a little bit closer than people think. So I don't have the Bills covering this one. I got the Bills winning it 28-23. I could be totally wrong on that, though. They may come in and smack the Patriots, man. I'm giving a little bit of respect to the culture setting that we got from Mike Vrabel and thinking maybe Drake May and company can keep this a little bit closer. But I think the Bills will handle their business and win this Sunday night game. Now, our next and final game, man, Monday night, the Kansas City Chiefs go into Duval to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Jacksonville, quiet as kept, is 3-1. They've been one of the more surprising teams. Liam Cohen is coming there. His program seems to be working. They won a big game against San Fran. Like I said, a little bit of controversy after that game between him and Robert Saleh, who was the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. this is a tricky one, man. I think this game, the Chiefs, of course, have been on the road the last 2 weeks. They're 2-2 now. Seem to be getting their footing back. Worthy coming back made a big deal to them. Made it offense look a lot more dynamic than it had been looking. A weapon finally that Patrick Mahomes had at his disposal. But like I said, Jacksonville's a tricky team, man. They're a team that has been not, kind of flying under the radar, 3-1. One of their best starts in a long, long, long time. Now, still don't necessarily believe in Trevor Lawrence. They do have a good running game, though. They got a lot of weapons over there. They have an opportunistic defense as well. But like I always say, man, you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, man. Now, I will say I don't think they'll cover in this game. I think this game will be closer than the experts think, but I'll take the Chiefs in this one to continue their winning ways, move to 3-2. I like the Chiefs winning at 27-24 and going ahead and taking care of it, not covering 3.5 points. Like I said at the time that we're recording this, we got all of these point spreads from ESPN Bet. That is not an endorsement, but that's where we got the lines from in these games. So, like we said, I think this will be a interesting week. You guys tell me what you think. If you like these picks, what do you think I went wrong? What do you think I'm right agreeing with? Comment, give me your takes on who you think will win these games. Great Thursday night game to kick the week off. I think that'll be an entertaining game. I think the 49ers and Rams always are pretty fun. NFC West is always going to give you a good matchup with any of those four teams, no matter what the records are. They always seem to put on a pretty good show. And one team could beat the other team, and the other team won't beat the other team, and that kind of round robin situation in that division. So I think we'll have fun with that, man. Now, you guys make sure you do yourselves a favor. Subscribe to the channel, man. Hit the like button on this video as well if you like what we're doing here, man. We do this each and every Thursday before the Thursday night kickoff, before all of the games are on deck. And also, we give you pick six. We're moving that to Friday. So if you're watching this right now on Thursday night, or if you're watching it on Friday, click over and watch our pick six. We pick 6 games against the spread, man. Sure to make right now, we're 10-14 on the season. So we're in a bit of a slump. We kind of like the Baltimore Ravens too. But I think in the end of the season, you'll see that we'll be there and we'll be a true contender as the season goes along. So you check that out on Fridays. On Monday, of course, if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, we have Bird Talk for you. Our Atlanta Falcons dedicated show with myself and B Woo. And we also give it on Wednesdays, all kind of previewing what's going to happen. And on Tuesdays, we cover the entire league, recap all the games that we just talked about. You'll see if I was right in my prediction or if I was wrong. Cover 2 with B Woo, Earl knows it all. You see our logo up there as well, man. So make sure you do yourselves a favor, cut the notifications bell on so you don't miss a thing. We're dropping these videos every single day, man. We got you covered Monday through Friday. Saturday, we give you a little break, and Sunday, you got a chance to watch the games as well, man. So we thank you guys for joining us today. Week 5, like I said, a couple interesting matchups, a couple games that may be some duds, but these are sometimes the games that can surprise you. So you guys lock in, continue to watch what we're doing. We will see you next week on NFL Matchup. Have a great day.